Konnichiwa. So I want to talk about respect and safety on figure skating sessions. There is no actual right-of-way on a figure skating session. I mean, maybe some clubs have some rules where they stipulate that a person running their program or in a lesson has a right-of-way. Regardless of whether there is some posted rule to that effect, I would say that this is maybe the most important place where we want to yield right-of-way is if a skater is running their program. Because, you know, we want to do unto others as we would have them do unto us. And if I'm running my program, I want to be kind of like unimpeded by other skaters. I don't want to have to change my pattern, and I don't even want to have to, you know, be that much focused. I want to focus on my performance and maybe on how I'm looking out into the audience direction and this and that. And it's not to say that I should be completely oblivious of other skaters either while I'm running my program. Now, having said that, what if a skater runs their program over and over again several times in a session repeatedly? Then if they're running their program all the time, do they have the right of way throughout the whole session? Well, we want to kind of like let them run their program, and we were doing the same, maybe taking the opportunity to run a program with music over and over again. That's good practice, so you can't fault somebody for doing that, but the right of way diminishes probably if somebody isn't doing like a full run through. If they're just doing like a section over and over and over again, you can't be quite as fussy about whether you're going to go into a spin and they're going to come be interrupted by your being in a spin. Now, as far as skater in a lesson, do we give a skater in a lesson special right of way on the ice? Well, I think to some extent, yeah, it's respectful if somebody's paying for a lesson. I mean, we've all paid our ice fees, so we're basically sharing the ice, and whether a skater's in a lesson or not in a lesson isn't really a factor in whether we share the ice or not. But yeah, okay, if I'm in a lesson, I'd prefer if I got some right of way so I didn't have to chase around the rinks so much, trying to fit in my double lutz so my coach could watch me and give comments. Yeah, that's not as important a right of way as somebody doing a full run through of their program. But yeah, we keep an eye open for a skater who's in a lesson. And we can consider, yeah, there's no real right of way. So when an accident happens, one skater should not apologize to the other without the other skater also apologizing. Both skaters should, oh, I'm so sorry, are you okay? Because the responsibility is on both skaters. There's no right of way on an ice rink. And okay, out of respect and just as a matter of sharing, it isn't quite as cut and dried as that, as I've already suggested. And I mentioned a spin, like, you know, if somebody's running their program, if you don't really know their choreography well, you might not want to enter into a really long spin because you don't know if your spin is going to interrupt their practice of the run through. Even if somebody's not running through, because a person in a spin has a right of way, right? You're not at all obligated to watch out for other skaters when you're in a spin. You're not moving, at least if you're doing a good spin, not moving very much, and the world is going around fast, and you can't always see where everybody's coming and where everybody's going. So we watch for a person who's skating a spin. They're stationary on the rink, and so they kind of have a type of right of way, or a right of not moving. And a coach standing on the rink also is not moving. They're predictable, and we would give them some right of way. And this, if you take this idea, sort of extrapolate it, you can maybe come to the conclusion that the more speed you skate with, the more responsibility you have to keep your eye open for other skaters. And so this would also be a factor in mitigating injury and collisions and showing respect for other skaters. That is, if you're skating very, very fast, then you should be very, very aware of your surroundings, of other skaters, where they are, where they're headed, and so that you don't collide with another skater. Beginner skaters who don't tend to skate as fast, if you're on a session like I skate on out at Minami Funabashi in the afternoons, here in actually in Chiba, the outskirts of Tokyo, there's many different levels of skaters, and beginner skaters don't skate quite as fast. They don't have the skills to skate quite as fast, and they're also, they tend to look at the ice more for orientation, and they tend to be more in their own little small world, beginner skaters. So they're a little bit unpredictable too, as far as which way they're going. They don't really tend to watch out for other skaters as much. So for your own safety and for their safety, even though they don't have an explicit right of way, we want to give deference, I believe, to less skilled skaters. Now the general public on many sessions here in Japan, on public sessions, they can be very, very busy. And on public sessions, figure skaters skate on public sessions, and sometimes they practice their triple combinations on these very, very crowded sessions. But they're organized in such a way that the public skates around the perimeter, and then there's a designated jump area and a designated spin area inside the cones, often cones delineating the periphery where the public are. Figure skaters gain speed with the public often weaving in and out to gain speed, and then come into the launching pad, the jump area, and one skater after another does their jumps and then gets out of the area. And the public wouldn't have really the right of way to wander into the jump area. That would be dangerous, and it wouldn't be recommended, and it's not, they don't have the right of way to do that. And sessions are organized that way for efficiency. So because if it was all just a free-for-all out on the whole rink, it would be too busy for very good skaters to practice their jumps. And so that's something that doesn't happen very many other places in the world. I did skate on a session in Korea which was set up like that, and in Korea they have a lot of speed skaters. Speed skating's big there, so the speed skaters would skate around the periphery, and then the figure skaters would do their jumps and spins inside. So yeah, more speed, keep your eyes open. And it's not only a matter of safety and respect for other skaters, but as a skater, one thing that I practice is my awareness of the room. I try to be fully aware of the whole room, not only the ice rink itself, but the what's beyond the ice rink, the stands. Because when I'm in a competition or giving some kind of performance, I want to be able to look askance and see, make some contact with my audience as a matter of presentation. Also, keeping an eye on other skaters, what they're doing, where they're going, even making visual contact is kind of a nice thing to do. And I think this is a direction that figure skating can move in. We can make eye contact with one another a little bit more as we're skating, and have some interaction a little bit more as we're skating, just as a matter of developing our social skills and presentation abilities. Closing up now, I mean, okay, something else just popped into my head. If you're doing some unexpected, some motion that's kind of where you do something unexpected, which other skaters might not be ready for, that would carry some extra responsibility as far as watching out for others. Like if I'm skating backwards or even if I'm skating forward, actually. If I'm skating forward, I don't see what's directly behind me. Maybe I'm going to practice a sudden stop I want to practice a sudden skid stop. And so I kind of should make sure that there's not somebody following me that's not ready for that stop. There are some little particular cases like that we might want to consider. So yeah, we want to get into a good flow. I skate in such a way that I watch other skaters because I want to make good use of the session, of the time that I'm on the ice. It goes beyond safety and respect, keeping an eye on each other. It goes to efficiency in a session, because I want to be able to get some speed, come around and do a jump. And now if I'm practicing that jump, insisting on doing it always in my same territorial place, then somebody might be in that place. If I'm a little bit more flexible about where I can practice that jump, then I can gain speed and practice the jump without, having my effort wasted and gaining the speed and having to go around the ice again. So there are a couple of other cases where we might want to give right of way to a skater. If a skater is practicing a long gliding motion like a spread eagle or a spiral, it's not easy to just change your direction if you're doing a spread eagle or spiral. So if a skater is doing a spread eagle or spiral, they should be afforded some right of way, I think, just as a matter of respect. Further, if a skater is practicing a particular figure skating move, if they're out practicing their figure skating, they definitely should have right of way over somebody who's just drifting around on the ice. It makes me kind of angry, actually, if I'm going to practice my double flip and I have to, and then somebody's drifting into my path, oblivious to what's going on, and they're not even really practicing. They're just kind of like resting and drifting around. So if you're just resting and drifting around, please, please, please keep an eye on those who are actually training. Yeah, so many considerations, and maybe you have some more considerations. Maybe you can expand upon what I've already said. I hope I've got you thinking about safety and respect and efficiency on your figure skating practice sessions, and don't be afraid, don't be shy to leave some comments in the chat to keep the conversation going, to introduce something that I haven't thought of, to argue with something that I have thought of, or to just get a dialogue going or a debate. Okay, well, thank you for watching. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and you'll see me again very soon.